What's up, guys? Welcome to Man's Hour, episode 22 on nerd culture. I'm joined by two gentlemen of power here. Jack Napier, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. I did not expect that intro.
Isn't it great? It's fantastic.
I freaking love it. Now that is metal, sir. That is metal.
That's amazing. And Governor Megatron, how are you, dude?
Great. I'm fantastic.
All right. Awesome shit, guys. Well, for anybody who, isn't familiar with our antics on Twitter and everything like that, do you guys want to quickly just introduce yourselves to the audience here? We'll start with Megatron. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm good. I'm Governor Megatron on Twitter. Not much to say other than you see me every once in a while live streaming video games and all that nerd crap, but I'm aspiring to do a lot of different things, but right now gaming is where it's at.
Right on. Cool. We'll be talking about that more shortly. Jack, what about you, man?
Governor, don't undersell yourself. You have a particular fine taste in the Asian culture as well.
He does. Yeah.
I have no clue what you could ever mean.
Every time something on my timeline pops up that you liked, I'm like,
huh?
Maddie fan.
I was hacked. Yeah, totally. No, I wasn't. I have no shame in that.
No, you shouldn't. I mean, manga knows where it's at. That's why they're outselling Western comics.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, but your intro, Jack. Where can people find you? What are you up to these days?
I am on Twitter at Jack Napier Knows. I am on YouTube on at Jack Napier Knows, where I mostly discuss fitness-related topics, mostly the basics, keeping it simple. There's a lot of mistakes being made there as well. I also have a podcast, Ready Evening with Rob from robsays.net. On Friday evening for you Americans, Saturday morning for me, which is actually just two guys at the bar, just discussing life, having a little bit of fun every now and then. And that's where I'm at.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Red Evening is a great show. You guys should go and listen. But gentlemen, we are here to discuss nerd culture and nerdy things. So I guess the best first place for us to start here is what are some of your favorite fandoms that you guys are a part of here? We'll start with Megatron.
Oh my, where do I even start? The obvious ones would be the nerd stuff like Star Wars, Transformers. Of course, the earlier renditions of Star Wars are superior. We all know this, but let's see, comic books to a degree. And it's enough again. I sound like an old man here saying, listen to all these, old. Oh gosh, listen to all these old people talking about the older times were better. But I like that stuff. I do, as Jack said, I like the anime stuff is great too. Manga's great. I've been reading a lot of that and watching a lot of anime lately. And rhythm gaming particularly is where I specialize in when it comes to gaming. So that's a big fandom group that I'm in, if you will. So those are my favorites.
Yeah, cool stuff. Anything stand out to you, Jack? Some of your favorites?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yes, of course. Absolutely.
That's a given.
That's kind of what I'm known for in every live chat as well these days. It's like even Ryan almost kicked me out. He's like, God damn it, Jack, you show up and we're back on this nerd shit.
Ryan loves the nerd shit too. He's got a Minecraft channel, for God's sake.
And it's great. It's great. Now, Lord of the Rings, just hands down. I have gotten back into Pokemon card collecting, but only Japanese because Wizards of the Coast screwed us over for a multitude of reasons with the retro Pokemon cards. Star Wars, of course. Even though there were things about Obi-Wan Kenobi I liked the series, as a whole, it was just absolutely terrible because of, the message.
Yep, the message.
Pushing of the narrative, unfortunately. And just some particular scenes were just badly written where Obi-Wan took Leia under his coat. It's like, we know stormtroopers aren't the brightest, but they're not inbred,
I really hate how that's become very meta now, in the shows. The show actually acknowledges how stupid stormtroopers are. It's not a good idea for writing purposes. Not a fan.
No, they burned Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's also been theorized that they missed a lot of their shots on purpose because they were redirecting them back to the Millennium Falcon in episode 4. They let us go, is what Leia says. They were go so they could track them. They weren't stupid. They were well trained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, do we need to get rid of him? Unbelievable. This
Rings
is sacrilege of the highest order.
That's a heresy.
Yes, absolutely. What an absolutely garbage show. Every part of it. They couldn't even pick a attractive actress to play Galadriel.
That is the only part I will disagree. I don't think she's ugly.
I've seen so many stills of her making her weird ass faces, like on the show, like they've been turned into GIFs. It's just totally turned me off to her at this point. No.
Yeah.
I enjoy horse riding.
Look at my big clunky armor. I look like one of the men now.
Yeah.
And fucking crying Elendil. It's like, Jesus Christ.
No, he's way cooler than you.
Yeah, JD is in the chat. He is a pretty Tolkien scholar as well. It's like the Numenorians are like almost 8 foot tall or something, or at least Elendil is.
Golly. Yeah, that's right.
And then he stands there like crying while what was it? The Queen of Numenor and Galadriel stand there like being power women, and Helen. Yeah, but his son just died. It's like he died 2 episodes ago. Get over it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, Alex. Come on, man. We all would for sure.
But could, that is the question.
Absolutely. Oh, you know what? Hey, JD brings up something else. The goddamn Witcher series. How they completely butchered that too. Oh.
Yeah. I didn't even finish that.
I couldn't finish the second season. Yeah. It was so bad. The first one was like, okay, there's something to work with here. But then like the second season was like, this is terrible. Oh
yeah. I felt bad for Henry Cavill. I really, really like him as an actor. I don't like very many actors, but he's one of them I do like, and I do not blame him for leaving at all.
Yeah, me neither. I have major respect for him for opting out of that show because he's a super fan himself. He's into the 40K, miniature paintings, building his own PCs, all this kind of stuff. Totally like I don't know if the nerds and the incels had a king, he'd be it. He could rally them.
It's a good king to have, but I do feel for him though. Like, hey, I'm gonna be playing Superman again. This is awesome. And then James Gunn is like, no, we're gonna do a young Superman. It's like,
is that all that bullshit I saw on Twitter? I've been too busy fighting trads to see all this stuff.
It's like they're not. Henry Cavill is not coming back as Superman,
which makes Black Adam a waste of time at the end.
Yeah,
did y'all see that? Yeah,
unbelievable. It's for the DC. They have the best superheroes. They did everything first. Superman, Batman. They got the greatest characters ever, and they just can't get anything right with their movie universe. Did you guys ever watch like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and stuff like that? The
yes
TV shows. Yeah, those were great. Those are so good.
Batman the animated series might be hands down the best Western cartoon ever made.
Yeah, it's very, very good. It still holds up today. I actually watched it earlier this year again, back in February. Unfortunately, Kevin just died, which really sucks. But his did you guys see what his last voice role is though? He's for that upcoming Suicide Squad game. He does the voice of Batman in that game. So it's his last role. Yeah.
Huh.
So we'll see what we're going on with that. But yeah.
I still remember the episode like Joker Fish. Now there's a happy meal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Joker from that series is great. It's like Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker plays the Joker. What?
Yeah, he does such a good job at the role too. Like there's several scenes where he's just such a jackass. I remember there's this one scene. It's like he's locked up in Arkham and he just like nonchalantly calls one of the guards like a Nazi. Basically, he just like goes like "Jawohl," like when the guard is walking around. It's like, my God, he's just such a smart ass.
Old cartoons are so great.
Oh my God,
they're just so great. I wish I could voice act that. I would have had so much fun. You guys are into that? Like, are you guys into any of that? Like the creation side of things?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I love watching the
sure.
animation. I like watching the behind the scenes of the voice acting, things like that. I think I might have told you, Jack. I dated a girl that was a storyboard artist for Ed, Ed and Eddie. You remember that cartoon?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. She
I
still
remember
has
the
some of the
story.
artwork too. Pretty cool. I still talk to her every once in a while, but yeah, that was really interesting, especially because I already liked that kind of thing anyway. I like to see what happens behind the scenes. She told me all kinds of crazy stuff about that show that I highly believe. But yeah, it was really interesting. So
I could totally see a lot of drug usage in the background of, the creators of that show.
little bit.
Ren and Stimpy, man, same thing. Like, what the hell was that?
Dude, that show was nuts. That was the one my dad liked, I remember back then. And when it was on Nickelodeon, though, it was more kid friendly, but it was, I watched the more adult version. And I went, what in the world is this? So what I remember growing up on,
horse nipples.
Yeah.
Oh no, rubber nipples that were sold by a horse. That was it.
Yeah, something like that. And, powdered toast, man.
Thinking of some other franchises here. I know, Jack, obviously you're a fan of this one for obvious reasons, but the Pirates series,
Yes.
So.
I had the Black Pearl from Lego, and I even have
Yeah.
No, there you go. Pirate.
Pirate. Yeah.
Mm.
That's one of my favorite movie series too. That's one of I haven't watched in a while, but I thoroughly actually enjoyed all 5 of them in their own way, shape, or form. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like 4 and 5 and 3 even, but they all had their good moments, I believe.
Yeah.
I like 4 more than 3 and 5. I just think they murdered the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, I really do hope that Johnny Depp comes back and does more of those movies, though. The guy totally deserves it after all this Amber Heard bullshit.
They're gonna have to
Amber Heard is coming back. Did you see?
What? Really? No.
I saw something. I saw something today that DC hired her again, and apparently there was some kid with leukemia who wanted his YouTube channel to 100K, and Johnny Depp that came on his radar, and he made a shout out like, "Hey, go subscribe to this kid, people." Yep. And Amber Heard lost it. Amber Heard fans were pissed off, where it's like, why do you subscribe to this misogynist channel? The child had leukemia and was 10 years old.
Yeah, that kid got his YouTube channel removed too. I don't know if you saw that.
What? He got it back.
Did he get it back? Okay, I saw that a little bit ago. I said, you got to be kidding me. Like, who knows who did that, but that was pretty upsetting. But that's good he got it back, because I couldn't help but think, was that Disney pulling something, going, oh, that's our character. You can't dress up as Jack Sparrow and make a kid happy. No.
Probably like a mass flagging or something that people tend to do.
And Disney is no longer about making children happy, but making children like addicted to antidepressants. There's a difference in there.
Yeah.
Or
well, yeah, that too. It really is sad. Like, do you guys remember a long, long time ago, like 10 years ago, when, we were so optimistic about, like, oh, they're announcing this new thing. Like, oh, there's a new Star Wars movie. Oh, there's a Lord of the Rings show. But back then we're like, oh, this will be so cool. And now it's just like, when they announce something new, you just cringe. You're like, oh no, not
this.
Oh
man.
Oh, I remember, what was it, yesterday? I checked my Facebook memories, and it actually had a memory from 2 years ago where they announced the Willow series, and I went, I'm actually looking forward to that. And then now I'm reading about it and hearing about it, watching reviews, and I go, what did they do to that movie? Because that was a good movie back then. I don't know if y'all saw Willow.
I never saw Willow. No,
I'm
familiar with it, but I do not know it. No.
Like, the new series has Ginger Jesus, I believe, from Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, the terrorist chick. Yeah.
I've totally stopped with all
show.
Marvel. I've stopped with all Marvel stuff. The last thing I watched was Endgame. I didn't watch a single TV show. I didn't even watch the new Spider-Man one, which I heard was really, really good.
But it is.
Oh, that one's good.
Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah.
I've just checked out of like all Marvel stuff.
I don't blame you. Me, for the most part, me too. Unless if it's comic book related or something like that. I like individual characters, and a lot of the stuff they've done with those individual characters, I'm not a fan of, except in the comic books where it's a little grittier. I like it a little bit better that way. It doesn't feel so milquetoast and watered down.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JD brought up a good point, by the way. Unpopular opinion: Ben Affleck had the right older Batman physique. Like Ben Affleck and The Dark Knight Returns. That is like
Ooh.
almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That
Gosh.
I didn't really have too much of a problem with Affleck as Batman, to be
Me
No,
honest.
me
neither.
neither. Batfleck
Mm-mm.
was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I took a little bit of exception to, Snyder having him kill a bunch of people. It was like, okay, this is not what Batman does, but
He did well. See, that was one thing he did do. They said he doesn't have guns in the very old comics of Batman. I distinctly recall he did have like a long gun featured on top of a tower or something like that. There was a shot of him. I don't remember. Yeah, but I remember reading somewhere he did indeed use guns in the very early renditions of him. But again, that could be completely off. But I remember thinking that was an interesting thought. And then you look at the older Batman movies from the '90s too, where the dude. He throws a guy down a hole and then throws the grenade down and blows the guy up. I'm like,
no.
Batman just killed somebody there. He's just killing people, and I don't kill people. Yeah, you kind of do. I mean, especially with how he was beating some of those people up in the warehouse scene, which was awesome, by the way. That was. I was thinking, there's no way they're going to survive, or even they're going to be walking out near wishing they were dead.
Yeah, the Batman doesn't kill is debatable. Like,
Yeah.
it is debatable.
Yeah, it's a nice thought, but I mean, it's the same thing with Superman. And a lot of people didn't like that Superman killed Zod in Man of Steel. And I went, well, it kind of formed the character for that universe, though, because you realize he just killed the last of his kind off, or at least from what he knows. And he's just like, he's a lost alien here on Earth amongst other people having to live amongst us. It made for an interesting story that I actually appreciated.
Yeah, they, DC was just trying to play catch up so bad with Marvel, and it really just bit them right in the ass.
It sure
sadly. Did. Because there's some really, really cool stuff that they could have done.
Yeah,
but I mean, JD's mentioning Gal Gadot here. I mean, first of all, would absolutely. But yeah, she did try. I mean, I thought the first Wonder Woman was okay. I didn't think it was that bad.
The first one was great. I saw that in the movie theater back then with my at that moment in time girlfriend. I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was skeptic, where it's like, this looks like political propaganda. But we both walked out and were like, this was actually pretty fucking fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like that scene she walks up to the battlefield, the First World War. That was actually not cringe.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty epic. It's like,
I didn't have an issue with it, I mean, some of the CGI was a little shoddy in it, but to be honest, we get spoiled with that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm just more focused on like the character stuff at this point.
Right.
Just give me something that isn't infected with the message, and I'll be much more inclined to enjoy it.
House of the Dragon, even though like the Valarians were, diversity hires, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It worked.
Yeah, it actually worked really, really well in the show because it's important, like bloodlines and everything, and it actually makes it really easy to detect like who's part of which bloodline. So, to be honest, I'm totally fine with that. And the other thing as well is that George R.R. Martin is still alive, so it's not like they were, changing things after his death like they're doing with Tolkien. Like the guy gave it the A-okay, so I'm like, okay, if the guy wants to say it, fine, whatever.
Yeah, it's not an absolute slap in the face.
No. And the guy who plays Corlys is an absolute tank.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit!
That show is very, very good. So,
I'm enjoying it so far.
I was shocked as to how good it is.
Yeah.
So, how far are you in it?
I just finished episode 6 last night, so I'm only 4 episodes away from. It's okay. I've heard everything that happens. I don't mind spoilers, honestly. So y'all can. My coworker tells it to me all the time, and I'm just like, go ahead. So like we did the 10-year time jump, and then I started going, wait, which girl is this? Oh, okay, I get it now. I started figuring out who was who and all that. So, but Matt Smith didn't age at all, but and
he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to. Yeah, exactly. I was like, that's the excuse I gave too.
He's the Doctor.
He's the 11th Doctor. He's okay. Viserys fanboy.
Oh man, Viserys is great. Like I was talking to Red Hawk before the show began. House of the Dragon made an old man with leprosy walking down a hallway more epic than an entire 10 episode $60 billion show. Like that one scene of a crippling old man walking is more intense, exciting, and just blown away by than the entire first season of Rings of Power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
I really, really hope, like, with the, insider stuff that's been leaked about, like, Amazon, how about they're basically like pissing their pants as to how little money they're making off this show. Oh man, it's just so good to see. I hope it's all true. In like 3 years from now when season 2 comes out and nobody watches it. Oh, it's gonna be wonderful.
All female writing cast.
Yeah, that'll save your shitty show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They never learn. They don't freaking learn.
Mm.
There was another show they're doing with all females, and what
I think
was
The
it?
Witcher did that too.
Really? There was another
Yeah.
one I saw earlier. I'll try to remember what it was, and they were going, "Didn't they learn from Ghostbusters?" Oh yeah, National Treasure. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That one. I have only heard the first few minutes about that show, but I don't know if it was a joke or not, but they actually say how to pronounce Latinx instead of Latinx, and the word patriarchy thrown in there somewhere too.
I saw the poster and I was like, this has got to be a joke.
Yeah, they don't learn.
No.
Well, they don't want to.
No.
And
they won't learn until they're forced to.
I mean, channels not like Nerdrotic and like even the Critical Drinker, Heels versus Babyface. Man, this is their bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they start making good shows, although Gary's been pretty open about it. He's like, I loved House of the Dragon, and I'm just gonna make content about that.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I've been actually, watching a lot more of those guys recently, just because like I need some more like R&R in my life, just like some, and it's a good way to wind down. Who the hell needs like political updates every 5 minutes, or God forbid we talk about the Sphere, but yeah. We don't need any of that. Oh, Jack is just like
I'm back on Twitter and I'm already like, oh yeah, this is what it was like. Oh yeah.
Well, Jack, you were a threat to our democracy. We had to keep you off Twitter, man.
That is true. Like John Watts had a field day with that. Like, what was it again? Jack Napier now officially more dangerous. No, what was it? As dangerous as Alex Jones.
There we go.
The notorious Jack Napier, yeah. Well, Jack, something that you and I could definitely talk about is about our mutual love of Legos.
Where do you want to begin? Like how they dropped the ball in the Lord of the Rings Lego sets?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking. I think it was in your chat a couple of weeks back, and I was talking about how I want to get, Tower of Orthanc. I really want to, but it's tough to find, man. It's like they're $500 aftermarket, $1,000 new. And it's like, my God. But so I'm gonna have to look into it at some point.
Isn't that expensive these days? Let me check Bricklink real quick.
Wow. I've been watching all the Legos that I see like come out lately. There's a Lego store nearby me. It's pretty cool to check out and see what they've got. But I haven't bought Legos in so long because of how much they are. They look so cool. Like back as a kid, I had the Fright Night set. That was my favorite of all time. And finding that these days, if I could find it again and build that castle, I would in an instant. But it's a hard thing to find.
Honestly, it's funny. I got back in the mood for it because I was watching House of the Dragon and seeing Viserys just work on his little model. I'm like, you know what? That sounds great right now. Just, relaxing, not having anyone bother me, just building my sets,
Yeah.
Why do you think? Oh, nice. There's a couple in America, by the way, Hawk. For 561, then you get it new in box.
Wow.
The link in the private chat isn't working, I think, but I just went on
Bricklink.
No, it is.
Oh, it works. Okay, good.
Yeah, no, it was. You were lagging a little bit there, but yeah, it's back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I do see it. Yeah.
No, but like, why do you think I do it? Like, I got the Lion Knight castle. I got the 3-in-1 castle 3 times because I wanted to build the alternate builds as well.
Oh,
Lego Blacksmith.
Cool.
And it's just. I showed you the photo, right, Hawk, of the girl I'm dating right now. She wanted to see it. It's like, okay, come upstairs. It's like,
come on.
Yeah. Well,
Honestly,
I
chicks like building Legos, man. Like,
yeah, but I'm always kind of like yes, I do that, blah 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 blah, and like I've got like the Lego ship in front of me. But she was very enthusiastic about it, like, oh, what more do you have, and blah blah blah. And she told me that her dad really wants the Millennium Falcon UCS set,
ooh,
shit like that, and they're probably gonna give it to him for Christmas, but as a
mm,
collecting gift, like with her and mom and maybe grandma, shit like that.
Mhm.
mm.
So that's actually pretty cool.
That's the line you use to close, Jack.
How
You'd
would
be
you
surprised.
close?
I have,
I believe it. I would totally believe that would work.
but it was with
Absolutely.
Pokemon cards, and unfortunately, I wasn't skilled enough back then.
Mm,
Unfortunately, because
Mm.
what was it? I don't even think I've told this story. Maybe I have told this story. So there was a Beatles cover band playing in the bar across the street here. And the Beatles cover band was from the United States. So we walk up, and outside stands this blonde chick. And she had something Pokemon related. And I point that out, and I started talking to her. That was always my thing. For some odd reason, I just saw
mm,
something that somebody had that I liked as well, and I just started talking about that. I've always been pretty social. Like this is before
yeah.
I even knew what game was,
Mm,
and we just started talking about that. And she was an American, and I have my funny accent, so she loved that. And at a certain point, I tell her because back then I still had the first 251 in English.
oh, really?
I had a first edition Neo Genesis Lugia, I will tell you.
Mm.
Oh dear.
Yes,
That's
that
the
is.
closer.
I looked up what that is worth right now, and I'm kind of like, oh wow, I did not know what I had because everybody's always like Charizard, but look at that one, Lugia first edition. It's like, ooh,
Yeah. I wish
but
Yu-Gi-Oh cards were as expensive. They're just not.
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is more fun to play than
Yeah.
anything else, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Although I did thought about it today to like maybe a PSA 10 Blue Eyes White Dragon, but it wouldn't be the same. You know, you
Yeah.
want to play it.
No.
You
Yeah,
want to
for sure.
sacrifice 2 monsters to summon my ultimate being.
Dude, I got a dual disc for Christmas once when I was a little kid. It was like the coolest thing ever. I was so excited.
That's amazing. But like to continue the story, so I still had the 251 on card, and we got talking, blah blah blah. And I told her that. She's like, "No way, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, I live across the street. You want to see?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." Blah, blah, blah. And she was in my room. And I grabbed the binder, and we started making out and blah blah blah. And she wore red lingerie. I still remember that.
Huh.
And I was like, but then because her boyfriend was the guitar player in that band, and I was like, I can't do this. I have my hand between her fucking legs. I'm like, no, I can't do this. Later on, we did talk a bit, and she's like, oh no, it's not the first time I cheat. I'm like, what? She's like, well, the thing is, he takes me around the world, and he loves me, and he buys me presents, but it's like, you know. And that was kind of my first confirmation of what I was about to discover a couple of years later, where it's like, hey, wait a minute, I remember this behavior. Those were her exact words. Like, yeah, he loves me and he takes me places and he buys shit for me, but you know, it's like,
You know.
It's so interesting when you see like, chinks in the armor, light is like starting to shine through a little bit. And then eventually, years down the road, you look back and you're like, oh God, like I screwed up with
God.
this one.
Yep. But my friends, like, we came back and my friends just would not leave it alone.
Mm.
Like, did you fondle her Jigglypuffs? Shit like that. It's like, no,
Amazing.
we didn't do that. I actually
Did it
showed
feel like
her
a
my
bag of
Pokemon.
sand. Yeah.
I actually showed her my Pokemon card collection.
Oh, Pokemon card collection.
That's the exact same thing they
Yeah,
said.
that's what they would say,
of
right?
Course,
Yeah.
of
Yep,
course.
yep.
I should have done it. Like now that I look back on it, I'm kind of like, I should have ravaged the hell out of that.
That's what everyone says, man. You talk to anybody in this space, and everyone just says, God, the ones that got away, are really just the ones I remember, man. And that's
Yeah,
so
but that
true.
was this one was easy, and because like
Yeah.
I don't want to be the cheater. It's like, and nowadays I'm like, fuck
Yes.
that shit. I'll be him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't care, got laid. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm the guy I said I didn't like way back then.
Man.
Oh, I have that one, Chris. I have like shagging the girlfriend of a guy I didn't like.
Yeah.
That's good to have. It's like
Satisfaction.
One of these days we gotta have like a bingo sheet of something. It's like the threesome, the guy of the married chick, the boy, the girlfriend of the boy I didn't like. Just
I'm at 2 out of 3. Keep going.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody can make a bingo card of this and post it on Twitter or something.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be hilarious. Oh. God, I can imagine that would pick up like wildfire.
My brain is racking right now. I'm like, oh,
The Slum Buster.
Yeah, Alex, get on this. This seems like something your autistic mind can deal with,
The single mom.
Yeah.
What else we got? The sister.
The sister of her. Yeah. God. Yeah. The single mom. The older woman, like the MILF or something.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
The one that swears she's not into you. You got that? You got the one that swears that she's not into you, and then the moment that you don't pay attention to her and you go the other way, then she's all over you suddenly.
Dude, I had a girl I used to bang, like, tell me flat out, like, I fucking hate you,
That's okay,
Cool.
sweetheart. Pat her on the head.
Yeah, it's like, cool. It's like, yeah, but yeah.
Cool story.
She did. She did respect me. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Speaking of respect, Jack, I've heard from the top G that video games and books and all these other things are nerd stuff, and you're supposed to be thinking about war and money at all times, and this is not alpha at all. What would you have to say to that?
Well, okay, I will give him one thing. For some odd reason, this space is like fascinated with books, where it's like, dude, chill with the books, okay? Reading isn't all that exciting. Like, after a certain point, you've read enough. Like, how many more times do you want to read? Spend less than you make. Or, you know what? Learn to shut up. Like, 48 Laws of Power till this day is my favorite book. And give me one book on an island. I'll manage with that one. Rollo's first book is great.
Yeah.
9084, like, I have the hardcover because I'm afraid they're gonna ban it digitally. So that's why I keep it. But I've only read it once and I got the gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, the ideas of the book are honestly better than the book itself. It's kind of like a slog to read,
Yeah,
At least I found it.
Brave New World is better.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
I have that one too. Aldous Huxley. Yep.
Yeah, he did a good job with that one.
Eat your fucking soma.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dark ending to that book too. He's just like, he's just like, oh.
All the books that I've read, like all the nonfiction books I've read probably in the past couple of years now, I think to myself, maybe I should take, some advice I've heard and jump into some fiction. Maybe then, I can expand my mind a little. I've read Lord of the Rings a couple times now, so I need to, read Narnia, read stuff like that. I could probably jump into another sci-fi fantasy something or other I'd like. And I can only, like Jack said, you can only read so many times how, you can save money, or how much I can practice minimalism or dieting or whatever else. And the messages all seem to have a similar overall message. And so it's like you're reading the same thing by a certain point. So
yeah, I was talking to Rob about this actually, how it becomes like analysis paralysis. Especially like in our circles, like with game and everything like that. It's like, oh, if I just read like one more book, then I'll have the golden formula of how to like do an approach and talk to the girl. And it's just not how it works, man.
Yeah.
No, but it's like social savviness is something that you need to go out for. Like the IOIs and things like that. Like, is she looking at me? Is she putting in effort to look my way. Where it's like she's actually like turning around her friends or whatever to make eye contact with me.
Yeah.
Is she putting herself in my orbit? You can read about that, but if it never happened to you, you don't know that it's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And like about the like I made the joke where it's like I've seen what alpha is. I'd rather not be.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, it's
But
just
there is a certain degree in this space, and Ryan said that best, where it's like unsuccessful people cannot do what successful people can. Where it's like some guys really need to hear put down the video games. So there is truth to it, but it's the way of phrasing where it's like, and that's a thing on Twitter, you need to see it for what it is. And Ali almost got me. Where it's like Real Femme Sapien was tweeting certain things.
Don't take her seriously, Jack. Don't do it. You know?
No, and there were certain things she was tweeting, and I was like, what kind of nonsense is this? And then I was like, wait, she's doing this on purpose. And
she does
then
this all the time.
And then I looked at the comments, it's like, oh, so that's what she's doing. Now it becomes interesting.
Yeah.
Now it becomes fun.
She's done a very, very good job of, you know, just hitting the right notes on her Twitter account to get it circulated by like I guess you'd call it like the tier 1 like Manosphere dudes, you know, just like, you know, just getting in here, you know, listen to Fresh and Fit their whole lives, and now it's like, oh my God, you can't say this, you know. And then there's like, you know, and then there's like your PhD, you know, people like Rob or something, you know, who's just like, oh, that's cute, girl, pats on the head, you know, moves on. I love that stuff.
So oh, did you see that tweet from Fresh and Fit where it's like, what was it again? Countries where prostitution is legalized, women tend to behave better. I'm like, define better.
Yeah.
Define better. Like Dutchy here represent. We're practically known for our legal prostitution.
What did Ryan say about that earlier? Something about
ever talk to an Australian
woman? Yeah, and I said yes, actually. Yeah. That's a good point.
Danielle brings up a good point. Or Kate too, like Kate as well is you know, very much like that on Twitter.
Yeah,
you know, she knows how to ruffle people's feathers. Yeah.
I used to hate Kate, really did. Where it's like, oh my God, you're obnoxious. But for some odd reason, like now that I'm back,
but
but now that I'm back on Twitter, I kind of see it where it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
We're just here to have fun, man. You know,
and she can be a savage too, like what she said to Pearly things. Holy shit,
that was funny.
Like we have been focusing on the wrong beef, people. We have been focusing on the wrong beef.
Yeah. Screw those. Yeah, screw those guys with 21 in their avatars. Let's just watch the Manosphere women go at it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's way more fun.
Oh, it's far more entertaining.
Yeah, it's like they actually like know they have no arguments.
There's cat fights all over.
Oh, what was I saying again? I was saying something about
the top G in the books, and you know how it is something the guys actually need to hear.
Oh yeah, well, like remember his Star Wars quote? He got so much traction for that. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Oh yeah,
and to a certain degree, part of his audience does need to hear where it's like, hey, put down the video games, go put down the books. You've read enough. Go actually do something.
Yeah, it's kind of like when people talk about like the anger phase. Basically, it's like you really need to get through that, you know, woman hatred, you know, just so you can. You need the pendulum to swing so far to the right so you can come back just a little bit in the center afterwards. You know, you actually need that little bit of like woman hatred to get over basically your conditioning, and then you settle down. You're like, oh, you know what? You know, women are people, so you know they suck.
They're great.
Yeah,
they're great. I mean, that part where they like you so much that you're annoyed by it. That's just great. That's a great position to be in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
For sure.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Because I went into that tweet from Fresh and Fit, and somebody came at me, and it's like, dude, the Netherlands is more than Amsterdam. So yo, but in the red light district, it's like, motherfucker, sit down and shut up and stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Oh, but I've been to Rotterdam. Oh, cool. So you've been to like the west part of the Netherlands, the Randstad, as we call it, and you've never been to like the rural provinces here. It's like it's very different. and we don't even like each other that much. So I always say that Amsterdam is in the Californian part of the Netherlands.
Yeah. Oh, man. You know, my favorite guy to listen to talk about this kind of stuff is when somebody in the West talks about how Islam is right about women, and then Mish just comes running in. He's like, "Let me tell you."
Like, oh, I got this one. Yeah,
Mish is
great.
Yeah, he really is Chad of Arabia.
He's my calf king or my calf brother. You know, what's up, calf boss?
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's like Allah really had enough of everybody's shit and just send down Mish to fix this. It's like my royal brother. I am tired of these people. Go, inshallah.
That was so funny how there was a fatwa put out on him and Ryan that Abu American
Wait,
stuff.
what?
No,
Wow.
I'm saying in jest, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Almost like a jihad.
Yeah.
I'm about to say.
Oh man. Did you guys see? I commented on one of Ali's posts. This was like sometime last week, and Abu American responded to me as I responded to Ali, and I just I sent the message to Mish, and I was like, Mish, should I just respond to this saying that Chad of Arabia and Ryan will save the West? And he said, do it. I just threw it in there, and then Abu American sent something back to me in Arabic or something. It was like, my God.
But
Wow.
okay, hear me out, because I do like Abu American. Craig, I believe. Him and I have like chatted. We've done a show together years ago. He's actually a very kind guy. However, I do want to add, my friend, if you're listening, don't take the bait.
Yeah.
Don't take the bait. It's like, don't. But he does. And he takes it very seriously. And it's like, I get it. You want to defend the name of the Prophet. But Mish is actually like Muslim as well, I believe.
Yeah. And he's
So-
smart on this shit too, you know? So
Yeah. It's like, don't take Twitter too seriously and things like that. Just don't.
Yeah. It just goes back to that Wine More Please post, man. You know, guys without framing. It's
Yeah.
And what they do.
Yep, it's so true, man.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Well, you know, I posted this last night and actually tagged you guys in this. So last night I finally had some free time because this week has been so damn busy for me. And I downloaded for $4.99 off of the Xbox store Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005.
$5, not bad.
$5, yeah, off the Xbox store. Just digitally downloaded it. It took like not even 15 minutes to do. And I was just playing some Galactic Conquest and loving my life.
Those
I
are
have to jump in there.
Battlefront 2 is with the dogfights too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can play as Jedi. Yeah. Oh
Perfect.
man, that probably, of all the games, that probably is the game I have the most hours logged on. Because when I was growing up and the only console in the house was the PlayStation 2, I had that game on there, and I played that for at least 5 or 6 years before I got an Xbox One. So I mean that game, yeah, definitely have a lot of hours logged into that one. Fantastic game. And then DICE came out with the reboot and it was garbage.
I did put a lot of hours into the newer Battlefront 2, but I didn't like a lot of I didn't like the fact that I felt like you had to buy your way up. It's like I in the original Battlefront 2, I felt like I could just jump in and play with a bunch of people, and it was based on skill rather than, just power
Loot
up your
boxes.
cards or what. Yeah, loot boxes. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. And introductions of characters like Rey. I get it, whatever. I'm just like, every time I see her and she kills me, I rage and want to beat her faster. But
You fucking Mary Sue of a bitch.
they couldn't introduce like Qui-Gon as a hero character. That would have been cool. Or I liked that they had Lando. I love using Lando. Dooku's obviously my favorite. Got to use him all the time. But I like the stuff that they added on later on. In other words, but I haven't played it in a good year, so I mean,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Did you see Tales of the Jedi?
It's like the Clone Wars animation style stuff.
Yeah, the 6-episode series.
I saw a bunch of like clips of it on YouTube, but I don't have a Disney Plus subscription, so I haven't watched any of the like Star Wars.
Chris,
stuff that's come
you
out.
can't tell me you haven't seen that. There's like there's 4 episodes dedicated to young Dooku.
I remember hearing about that. I need to catch that. You know,
It's good.
now oh man, Tales of the Jedi. Yeah, I'm
With
gonna have
like
to look into that.
young Qui-Gon, and they're going on diplomatic missions, and you see the struggle Dooku has between the Jedi Council and what's actually needs to be done.
Man, yeah, I remember reading about all that stuff back when they were trying to give Dooku lore and stuff, and just hearing about the idea of it put into an actual show. It's just finally, you know.
Yeah, my buddy, Academic Agent, who I was on stream with yesterday. That's the show that Sargon came running into, Jack, that we were talking about on Twitter. But he's had this long running talking point for years that Darth Sidious was right. Palpatine was right. And so it's been very fun watching years and years. People still go into his chat and saying justified strike on Alderaan, and everything. And,
Well, economically speaking, the blowing up of the Death Star almost hit the galaxy into a crippling depression. Millions of people lost their job. Millions of people died.
Yep.
Cost a shit ton of credits. And, violent rebels just got away with it.
And I've always said the Confederacy was my favorite faction of Star Wars. Always has been. I love those droids, man. And I think to myself, I remember even when I was younger, I thought, why didn't they start with stormtroopers and go to droids? Because you don't have to feed droids. You just got to maintain them. They already maintain massive amounts of other technology. You'd think they'd, go the other way.
Yeah, but isn't that because you're Texan?
Maybe. Maybe. But no. See, and if anything, too, this tells you how bad I am, too. I wish I could show y'all on my laptop here. I've even got the CIS symbol on here, and it says cis scum. Cis scum, just like the Tumblerinas used to say. But yeah,
because the Confederate flag would be too much.
I actually have the Confederate symbol on the back of my truck too, but nobody's ever recognized it. And I go, y'all are uncultured swines as far as I know. But who cares?
They were the most fun faction to play in Battlefront 2. I mean, the Droidicas and the Magna Guards and stuff. Those are really fun.
The sounds that the Droidicas make, it's just music to my ears. I love it. They're the coolest looking things ever to me.
That's an interesting thing to bring up is like the quality of video games has just absolutely gone off a cliff within the last 5 to 10 years. It's terrible.
In general, AA games, yes, but there are so many good indie games, man. And I'm sorry, but Nintendo is still king.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, how about this new the new Pokemon, Megatron? I know you're playing it. What do you think?
I'm enjoying it, even though they did what I wasn't very appreciative of in the previous generation, where they limit it to about 400 Pokemon, and it's already been leaked supposedly which ones are going to be added for DLC later on, and it's still not going to be all of them. I think it's another 80 or so, and I'm thinking, from what I've researched, what I've read, they've got more than enough space to do it on their game. There's no excuse at this point. They use the same models, I think, as Pokemon Go, which can work on a phone, for goodness sake. I know the Switch is outdated hardware by now, but I get so frustrated about it. But Scarlet and Violet, I got Scarlet. I enjoyed it. I beat it, over the weekend it came out or whatever, like I did Shield. And I'm enjoying it so far. I mean, I can't use the Pokemon that are my favorites. A lot of them are taken out of this game. So, my favorite Garbodor's gone. I was like, my garbage bag Pokemon's gone, man.
It's trash, man.
Yeah, the big giant trash bag, that I used in the previous one. I wrecked people online with it, and people used to say, "Oh, that's the worst one." I say, "Let me fight you with this now. Watch me." But so Scarlet. It had a good story. It was very entertaining. You're just a person attending a school, basically, and that's the whole gist of it. And it was actually more interesting in the fact that you can explore the entire world in any order you want to, rather than it being linear. And you take on the gyms in any order you want to, as well as the evil team, like Team Rocket equivalent. I can't remember what they're called right now. Team, not Galaxy.
Suck it.
Yeah, something like that. But it's the animations are still good. It's a little glitchy and stuff like that, but it's still enjoyable, I will say. And I play that more than I do any of my games on my PS4. My PS4 sits there so that I can watch YouTube videos and play Beat Saber on my VR sometimes. That's about it. Yeah. That's so like Jack said, Nintendo's winning right now.
Yeah, they do a very good job. I mean, it's just like a dark thing to hear about though. DLC in a Pokemon game. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Have to pay extra money to add on to the story. That's what I was thinking. This was inevitable.
I do think that with like Breath of the Wild, the DLC was justified. Maybe. Was it? To a certain degree, I think it was justified. Like the Trial of the Sword was pretty long. It was way more than a boss rush. It took me an entire weekend to finish that. It's just, and I mean like an entire weekend of you turn the Switch on in the morning, you sit the fuck down, and you go for it. Because Trial of the Sword was so much trial and error. And every time you died, you had to start back at the beginning.
Oof.
And then you finally beat the part where you died, and then it's like, oh shit, what's the next challenge? Like, oh shit. Then a fucking Lionel appears. It's like, no, run.
Yeah, DLC quality is just absolutely tanked. You know, do you guys remember like back in like 2010, like when Red Dead Redemption comes out and the DLC for that game, they ended up selling it as a separate game because it was so big, you know?
Yeah.
And then, or like Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, like the expansions for that one where, you know, 40-hour long campaigns that they got added onto it. Oh, yeah. It's nuts.
I remember back then, I was going to say, I don't mind DLC if it's an add-on to something to personalize it yourself, but unless if they're making it as big as the previous game in some way or close to it. Like, remember expansion packs in video games on PCs way back then? Like, Age of Empires 2 was one of my most played games, and then the Conquerors adds on to it, and it makes it just as good as the original, and it just takes it and makes it the same game and then some, like twice as big. And I could justify spending a little bit extra on that, but even then, I don't remember expansions being almost as much as the game itself. Like, I want to say, maybe I'm incorrect here, but even the Pokemon DLC was, I think, $35, $40. Was it worth it?
That's a lot.
Hard to say. Yeah, it was like $30 to $40 if I remember correctly. And that's, I would think 10 to 20 would have been a little bit more fair because it's just adding on. Like I said, it's like an expansion. The expansions, at least, they felt more expansive back then than they do now, if that makes sense.
I mean, that's why I loved Hollow Knight. You guys played Hollow Knight?
I didn't know, but I know about it. No, I do know.
Hollow Knight is such a good Metroidvania. You guys familiar with the genre?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Not something I play too much, but yeah, I am familiar with it.
It is just such a good fucking game, and you can get all the expansions and the normal game, DLC, everything for no more than $15.
Wow.
I mean, that's just great.
That is.
And we're still waiting for the sequel, which apparently should be coming out 2023. So I might be off the internet for a while.
Yeah. You know, as we're running out of time here and winding down, I think one of the last things I want to bring up here is, you know, we kind of have to address the thing, make it somewhat educational for the audience, you know, about like nerd culture and the woman. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but especially like with the younger chicks now, they just, you know, they play games. I mean, they like one of my girls has a Switch, you know, she plays like Mario Kart and stuff like that. You know, it's just, it's kind of just something they do now, you know, so like all this nonsense from a bunch of older guys that you'll see talking, you know, it's like, oh, you can't play games. They're nerds. It's not alpha. I mean, for Christ's sake, we have like the masculine geek guys, you know, who are all, you know, pretty based individuals. So
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you got girls that'll play games, but if they don't play them and they like the way you play games, they'll watch you play them. That's just as fun too. Yeah. Or if you can get them into something, interested in something that you're interested in, then it's almost as fun to watch them play and see their first reactions to things. I've done that many times. So, yeah.
I remember like my previous main plate always stealing my Switch because she knew what I did online. She did online. I was like podcasting with Rob and she was still in bed. And then all of a sudden she like taps me with the Switch. Like, I want to play Zelda. I want to play a new game of Zelda. And it's like, yeah, but honey, then I have to delete my save file. So you can do hard mode. It's like, no. And then she started playing Zelda and she kept dying. And oh, it's so sad. But like, even with the new chicks, I had a date last week. When was this? That was last week, Friday, I believe. Friday or Thursday. I walked into her room and she had a Wii standing there and a PlayStation 4. It's like
it's just part of the culture now, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I've got like the PSA graded card right in front of me. They enjoy it. They love it. Where it's like, oh my god, what's that? Blah blah blah. It's like, well, that's old school Pokemon. Like, oh, you mean like Pikachu and things like that? Like, I know the new ones, but what are the old ones about? See, this look. The thing. How do I phrase this? There is a truth to it, and Chris can confirm this one, where it's like, we try playing Yu-Gi-Oh at a meeting every now and then, and the guys there were just like, by God, artistic, even off the spectrum.
Yep.
Like there is a crowd that needs to hear put this shit down and shit like that. Become attractive first, and then you can own it. Like, mind you, I might be a Lego collector, but I'm also jacked and tan. Well, I'm not tan, unfortunately, but I'm jacked as hell. Whereas I'm in shape, things like that. I'm charming, funny, blah 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 blah. All the humble things you've heard about me are true. Yes.
Yeah.
But I also collect Pokemon cards and do Lego.
See, and then they realize there's nothing wrong with that when they realize how much of a cooler guy you are than the as you said, the artistic people are. So
it's the abs and the hygiene.
It's and then I think I said this to you, maybe Jack, or I said it on Twitter somewhere. I said, when it comes to rhythm games, like freaking, me, I play DDR all the time. That's my cardio, man. That attracts chicks like crazy because they see how I play it and they go, how do you do that? And that starts the conversation every time.
Sure.
Always. And so whenever you start teaching them, then they start going, this guy's really good at, teaching me how to do things. And then, you can carry on the conversation from there. But the guys that are there, oh my gosh, me and my, I have a group chat of my closest guy friends I've known for like 10, 15 years. And we all talk about, we're in the same group. Yes, our posse, we're all in the same group and we all play those games and we all talk about, these guys don't know how to talk to girls. Every time one will walk up to want to play, they'll just like almost be hanging over him going, this is how you do it right here. Here, let me pick a song for you over here real quick. And you're going, no, that. And then they won't leave them alone either, or they won't initiate a conversation effectively. And it's frustrating to watch, but then you realize, I could teach him something right now, or maybe he'll learn later on. Because I feel like maybe I was that kind of guy years ago. Not anymore, thank the Lord. But but even back then, I felt like those kind of guys were cringy and, like I said, artistic. So I don't know.
Honestly, if you're just a normal dude, you can make anything. Any hobby that you have, like, be attractive to a chick. You really can.
Yeah, that's
what my problem used to be. Like, it was always like the ones you were really into make you fumble like a moron.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, even you could be social as hell and could be able to get girls, but the ones you were really into, that's where that's where the blue pill really came in, where it's like, oh, hell.
Yeah. That's an interesting point you bring up too. Like, one of the main girls I talked to, she may not even be interested in the stuff that I'd be talking about, but she sees me absolutely nerd or geek out about it and talk about it in a way that's passionate and knowledgeable. And she'll just be standing there like, I love it when you talk that way. And it's like, oh, you like that, do you? All right, I'm going to keep going with this. This is great.
What? Dude, that's exactly the thing. That is 100% the thing, where it's like, yeah, but you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's like, you have no shame for it, whatever. There's only pure enjoyment in it. I've had a couple of times now where like that has come up. Yeah, but you enjoy it so much. And I remember, what was it? I used to have a girlfriend who earned more than I do. So hold your seats, Black Mirrors. Hold your seat. And she kept buying me shit all the time. Like, she found out I like chocolate. Every time we met, a new chocolate bar, shit like that. I'm like, honey, you do realize I'm training and shit like that, right? I know. Well, you can't buy me chocolate all the time. Yes, I can.
The extra scoop
Shit.
of rice. Yeah.
Yeah, like shit like that. Like, yes, I can. But at a certain point, like I worried back then a lot about that money thing and blah 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 and shit like that. And at a certain point, I look at her because like the fitness thing, as a fitness trainer, you don't earn a whole lot and they don't have like contracts and whatever. It's kind of shitty. And I look at her and she's like, you wouldn't even care if I was a garbage man, would you? She's like, if you would collect garbage with the same enthusiasm you have when it comes to fitness, I could not care less, and I would support you in every choice you made. Unfortunately, she had now turned out to have become a single mom, but still, it is a good memory. Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks when you see the good ones fail.
Yes, absolutely.
Where it's like, no, not you.
Not you too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you go back a couple years later and you see they've got a kid and you go, oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, well, like having a kid is one thing, but having a kid and not being together with a dad anymore.
Yeah, being a single mom. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
biggest killer.
Gosh, you were the
one of my last main girls. I broke this off with her back in, what was it, like February or March or something. And we were together for like 14 months or something like that. But she started to go down and do like some feminist relapse stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing any of this, not having this. It was one of those cases where the chick's friends are actively trying to sabotage your relationship by saying, oh, this is like abusive and stuff like that or whatever. And she took off and now she's got like 6 or 7 tattoos and is doing all the hair. And I'm like, oh, it's so sad.
So not you. Oh, you remember the story of Ice Cream Girl?
I think so, yeah.
I think you've told it before.
Yeah,
that
sounds vaguely familiar.
This to this day hurt me. It still hurts me when I saw her again. Like she was cute, like real cute as a button kind of thing. Voluptuous as the word might be, but just all around great person, shit like that, whatever. Hot as hell. For me, like another man's 10 is another man's 6. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Tatas Grandes.
Yeah, but like brown hair, shit like that. Maybe a like little nose knob. Not something weird or whatever.
Not like the ring thing.
No. And then like she cut it off, blah blah blah, because of reasons. And a year later, I run into her in Zwolle. She's got the hair dyed all strange bright colors. She got the septum piercing, random tattoos, and she grew out her armpit hair.
That's the killer.
And I look at her, but then I look at her group of friends, and it's like, yeah, you hate men. It's like you could she had the fat balding friend, the fat bald female friend. It's like, yeah, you hate men. It's like,
wow,
you can just see. But she was still enthusiastic to see me. It's like, oh my god, it's so great to see you, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, I wish I could see it the same, but you look like a fucking train wreck.
If you still look the same before, it'd be just as nice to see you.
Yeah. But I mean, I had my fun for a very good summer. But yeah, it just sometimes you're just like, oh, no.
Yeah, not like this.
Not like this. You were the chosen one. We're supposed to bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
Isn't that an interesting question? It's like we're going to eliminate all the Sith, and that's balance in the Force. How does that work?
Yeah, the Jedi were pretty dogmatic.
Yeah, they were. That's true.
That's
my God.
Questions that need to be asked. You know.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, the Sith brought peace to the galaxy. They did bring balance. At the end of the road, there was only 2 Jedi and I believe only 2 Sith.
But how dare the Sith exist? How dare the dark side exist? Balance,
Hold down, Kanye. Hold your horses. We are not here for the Jedi supremacy,
Yeah.
At the risk of Jack getting my channel nuked with a Kanye moment, let's wrap this up.
Jack, I like Yoda. He did good things.
All right, cool. Governor, anything you want to shill, man?
anything I want to shill other than, I've got my YouTube channel. I'm going to try to make things a little bit more frequently, live streams, and I'm also working on some actual videos with actual interesting content. Little bit of, I hate to use the word red pill because it's so overused now, but I've got some stuff in the works there. And then of course there's my Twitter page too, which I think you shared it on your Twitter page. You tagged me. So you can find me on there, and everybody feel free to follow me. For some reason, my followers have been fluctuating this week, and I don't know if that's bots or not, but I think it is.
But we have fun on there. Jack, what about you, man?
Well, what about the Wookiees on Kashyyyk?
But what about the Wookiees?
It's critical. We sent an attack group there immediately. Yeah.
Well, one thing I could say to those Jedi too, just
Oh, cool! A Dooku saber. That's
oh my god!
Oh my. Oh, that's cool.
I can't top that. I cannot. I'm not even gonna try.
I've got Geralt of Rivia's sword right next to me right now.
Really?
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I want to get an entire collection of all the Sith lightsabers and hang them up on my wall, like all around, and light them all up. I think it would look really cool.
So I promised myself I would never buy myself Anduril. I will not buy myself Anduril, the Flame of the West, a reforged one. I will not buy myself that. That is something I need to be given, but I would definitely buy Dark Sister, that sword from House of the Dragon. Yeah. I would definitely buy that one for myself. But where can people find me? YouTube at Jack Napier Knows. Fitness related content, Red Evening on Friday evening. And if you are one of those guys who is in nerd culture and you want to get something fixed in your fitness life, things like that, just go to my channel at Jack Napier Knows, and you can follow me on Twitter at the same handle.
All right, cool.
And Mace Windu did nothing wrong.
Except have a purple lightsaber. Stupid choice.
No, he
just to be kept alive.
That was the thing Samuel Jackson wanted. Like, Lucas went up to him like, "You want to play a Jedi?" He's like, "On the one condition."
Yeah,
I want a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, it kind of screws it up though, because like the colors of the lightsabers were supposed to like be symbols of like your side of like the Force and like what teachings you were doing. Like the green and the blue were supposed to be different, and then he throws the purple in there and totally screws things up. And now we got white and black and orange and rainbow. I'm sure that'll come next.
Oh
Disney
my gosh!
Don't give him any ideas. Shit, we gotta kill the stream.
None.
All right. For myself, take a look at the Twitter account. You'll see me fighting with a bunch of trads like we did today. Obviously on here, this channel, Man's Hour on Thursdays. Tomorrow, I will be on Red Evening on Jack's channel. So go take a look at that. We'll have a fun time there. But other than that, thanks for coming, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Man, cheers.